Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and thank you guys once again for joining the 980s podcast hosted by yours truly, Kevin Thompson, founder and CEO of 980s Capital Group. Thank you guys for joining us. As I always say, subscribe to the channel. As I always say, go and get my book, MLB to CFP, live on Apple Books. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, go to www.980scapitalgroup.com. Schedule an appointment or ask questions. If you want to ask a question, go to 9innings@9icapgroup.com. Send your questions, comments, concerns there. Please don't hesitate to just give us a call or go to the website. And you know what we're here to do is to educate, empower, and engage. And that's what we're here to do today. And we're here to talk to you about one of my favorite tools for financial planning, the Roth IRA, and why everyone may need one now. Let's get it. So Senator Roth did a great thing for us. He allowed us to get an account, to have access to an account, to where we can put post-tax dollars into it and take out tax-free withdrawals. Let's say that again. Post-tax dollars into it and take tax-free withdrawals, which means that we can put money into a Roth IRA today, let it grow until we're 59 and a half, depending on where your age group is or whatever. Let's just say hypothetically, I'm 42, so let's just use my age here. I can put money into that account, let it grow until 59 and a half, and then be able to take all of that money out tax-free, depending on what the legislation is at the time. I'm assuming that they're not going to throw this out, the baby out with the bathwater, and we'll still have the ability to have the access to the Roth IRA at that present time, access to the Roth tax-free. But yes, as of today, we can take that money out tax-free after 59 and a half. It's a beautiful, beautiful tool. But there's a catch. And people are going to say, Kevin, what's that catch? Well, one catch is you can't put that much money into it. Right now, I'm 42, so I can only put $6,000 a year into it. And if you're over 50, you can put a catch up of up to $1,000, which equals $7,000. That's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's still money you can put away into the account. But there's also another catch. If you make too much money, and I believe as of now, it's between 124 and 142 for a single individual, and I believe it's 204 to 214 as a married individual, joint filer. You can't put any money into it because you make over the limit. So part one, let's just talk about what we just mentioned, the Roth IRA and the benefits of the Roth. You can put $6,000 into it. You can take that money out at 59 and a half. If you're over 50, you can put $7,000 into it. As of today, based on our current regulation, putting $7,000 into it a year and let it grow tax deferred and get the money out tax free. Part two, the caveats. Like I just mentioned, if you make too much money, you can't put any money into it. Or can you? This is why you're on the 980s podcast, folks. You're here to learn some of the ins and outs of how to use the Roth IRA, even though you can't. So right now there's a provision called the Backdoor Roth strategy. Now the Backdoor Roth strategy is very, very unique. It allows you to put a non-deductible contribution into your traditional IRA. Let me say it again. A non-deductible contribution into your traditional IRA. Of course, you have to have wages and earnings to do so, but you can put a non-deductible contribution into your traditional IRA. Well, Kevin, why would I want to do that? Why would I put a non-deductible contribution into my traditional IRA? Well, if you have a traditional IRA and you're over an income limit, you can put dollars into your traditional IRA, but you won't get a deduction for it, right? So what we want to do is make sure that, we want to make sure that if we're going to put some money into a traditional IRA, make it a non-deductible contribution. That non-deductible contribution can be immediately converted over to a Roth IRA via a backdoor Roth provision, which means that no matter how much money you make, you can still contribute to a Roth IRA. You cannot contribute directly. Now, I'm going to say that again. You cannot contribute directly if you make too much money. However, you can put money in a Roth IRA via a conversion via the backdoor Roth provision. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please reach out to 90 Capital Group, and we will show you how to get this done. Part 3, why is this important? Because by 2033, under current legislation, they're looking to get rid of this provision altogether. You will not be able to do a non-deductible contribution to a Roth conversion every single year. They're going to get rid of that. It's a loophole. 2033, they're also going to get rid of the mega backdoor Roth strategy, which is something that we are using here at 90 Capital Group. Well, Kevin, what is the mega backdoor Roth strategy? We've discussed it on previous podcasts, but I will reiterate today. We can put non-deductible contributions in a traditional IRA. So what does that mean? So let's just say hypothetically that number is $20,500 this year for 2022. I'm an employee. And let's just say I get no matching inside of my 401k, just to make the numbers easy. I can place up to $58,000, or actually this year it's $61,000 into my into my traditional 401k. I'm going to say it again. I can put up to between $20,500 and $61,000 into my traditional 401k via a non-deductible contribution inside of my 401k. Now, it's not available for every plan. I get that. But if your plan has it available, I would put a little bit of money in there, however much you can from a savings perspective. And guess what? Now you can do an immediate rollover into a Roth IRA. I'm going to say it again. Let's just say hypothetically you put $20,000 into your traditional 401k via a non-deductible contribution. Well, you can immediately take those dollars and put those dollars into a Roth IRA via a rollover. Beautiful, beautiful thing. So now on top of that backdoor Roth that you did in regards to the non-deductible contribution to your traditional IRA of $6,000 if you're under 50 or $7,000 if you're above 50, but you also put another $10, $15, $20, or even $30,000 into your Roth IRA via a non-deductible contribution to a traditional 401k. This provision may go away by 2033. They're looking to get rid of it because it is a massive loophole. Massive loophole. But as of now, between 2022 and 2033, you do have access to it. So I suggest if you have questions, comments, concerns, contact 90 Capital Group. We can talk to you the ways about asking your 401k provider if you have access to these things. And then we can talk about how to initiate such things and to help you save money. And guess what? Those dollars that you put into your Roth IRA, even though they're not accessible day one, they will be accessible tax-free after you're 59 and a half. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Hey, guys, I hope this has been a valuable use of your time. Today, we talked about Roth IRAs, the benefit of them, tax-deferred growth, tax-free income, how to put money into a Roth IRA. If you make too much money, you use a backdoor Roth provision using your traditional IRA via a non-deductible contribution into your traditional IRA and do an immediate conversion over to your Roth. And then we also talked about putting additional dollars into your traditional to your Roth account by using the mega backdoor Roth strategy, using a non-deductible contribution to your traditional IRA and doing a rollover of those dollars over into your Roth IRA, adding more dollars to your Roth account, which does what? Before I answer that question, you're listening to the 90s podcast hosted by yours truly, Kevin Thompson, founder and CEO of 90s Capital Group. But what does it do? It leaves you a massive amount of money that will not be reported on your taxes after 59 and a half. So when you're taking out $15,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year out of an account to include, to help offset, to continue living your life, that is not reported on your income statement. It's not taxed. So no matter where taxes go from today and 20 years from now, it doesn't matter. This is tax diversification 101. Tax Diversification 101. And this is what we're here to teach you. We're here teaching you how to get some tax deferred, how to get some non-taxed and tax-free dollars on your balance sheet to offset anything from a legislative perspective, to offset anything in regards to just a economic perspective, to minimize the overall impact of not only taxes but inflation, and to incorporate all different aspects of whether it be minimizing RMDs, which will require minimum distributions, which we didn't talk about today, but we know with the Roth IRA, there are no required minimum distributions. So you don't have to take out that income when you hit 72 as of right now. Right now, what do we know about qualified plans when you're at 72? That RMD is required, which basically could do what? Raise your taxes in retirement. Having money into a qualified plan, and we can talk about doing some Roth conversions before you're 72 to minimize your RMDs, pay taxes earlier to ultimately pay less taxes later. It's imperative to have these conversations with your financial advisor. So if you're not having these conversations with your financial advisor, either get a new financial advisor or give us a call here at 98capitalgroup.com. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for joining us. As always, like I say, subscribe to the channel. Go get my book, MLB to CFP. Here we're live on 98's podcast because we're here to do what? Educate, empower, and engage. And today we talked about the Roth IRA, the benefits of the Roth IRA, and why you may need to get one now. Stay humble, stay safe, and I'll see you next week.